Ow, 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 and ow. That's what the painful sounds like from getting attacked from an avalanche. The Sharks get one painfully when they visit Colorado. Let's talk about it now on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night, January 26, 2021. The San Jose Sharks lose a tough one in Denver, 7-3 to the Colorado Avalanche. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks post game. We do this after every single game, home and away for the Sharks. If you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. And of course, follow us on on all the social media platforms. And of course, find us at tealtownusa.com. Pleased to be joined by Ian Reed. Ian, how are you up in the Great White North?
Fantastic, I guess. I mean, I'm good. The game wasn't, but I'm good at least, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one to take. I mean, started out nicely. Ryan Donato looking to be good here, but it got worse after that, my friend.
Yeah, look, this team this team is not very good. And when they play a good game like this, obviously when they play a game against a team like this, these are some of the expectations that we should have going forward. Um, I think it's definitely, there was a lot of problems in this game. Goaltending wasn't very good, but it wasn't the whole story. Like you can hang a lot of this on the goalies, but like at the same time, like the team in front of them wasn't very good. They were outplayed pretty much in every inch of ice. Colorado was outplaying them, except for maybe in the third, obviously, when things are nicely put away and out of the way. Obviously, I think that the Sharks looked a little bit better, but at that point, it's like fantastic, right? You're up against a team. You're down that much against a team like they're gonna take their foot off the gas a little in the third, and that's what happened. Um, so yeah, I mean it was a rough night, and it's gonna be something that we're probably going to see a little bit of, especially over the next little bit on the schedule, because the next games on the schedule don't get much easier, unfortunately.
And that's the problem, is that you're going to have Colorado, next on Thursday. Then you're going to have two games potentially against the Vegas Golden Knights. That depends on everything with everything that went on with Vegas there. Yeah, I mean, just my
I mean,
God.
they play tonight, so I'm assuming those games are happening.
Yeah, I mean they went on. In fact, congrats to Joel Ward for making his NHL coaching debut before he makes his AHL coaching debut. Uh, in that sense, you know,
Yeah.
but just a plethora of just a plethora of problems all over the case tonight. Trying to deal with all kinds of issues, with everything.
Mhm.
Goaltending wasn't the best. Defensive play wasn't the best. You know, little stuff here and there. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Boston game last October, which it was kind of around this point of the season. If you kind of compare where they were in the schedule, wise this point forward, and that's not good. Yeah, where's the everything sucks shirt? It fits the occasion. I mean, it's tough because you were hoping for some optimism. You got some, considering what Minnesota did. So, you know, it's an issue that's going to be going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so I mean, looking looking at just some of these numbers here, obviously like the Sharks. the Sharks had a lot of opportunities to do some stuff in this game. I mean, they had some power plays. Power play continues to be an issue for the Sharks, unfortunately. That's something that's obviously got to be corrected. I mean, it's just such a tough game. And again, look at Colorado's a good team. Colorado's one of the best teams in the league right now, let alone like this division. We knew that there was going to be teams in this division that was going to be murder. There's, like you said, there was, you wanted to be somewhat optimistic about the Sharks' chances because you had teams. The teams they played so far. They've done okay against some of the teams they played so far. They've had good games and bad games. But I'm not like, obviously you want to see the Sharks come back and play their next game against Colorado, which is the next opponent, and do something, you want to see them do something more positive, but I don't think this is going to be the trend of good game, bad game. There's a lot of big warning signs tonight that are incredibly problematic. And I agree that they did start the game well, but once the game got away from them, it really rolled away from them really quick. I don't know. I guess I'll start with like the first goal. I didn't think the first goal was particularly bad. I'm trying to remember all the goals now because like there's so many tonight. I didn't think the first one was particularly bad. It wasn't great. But it was just kind of like the frequency in how many goals went in, and just kind of like Jones, like I find like when he gets, like you can tell he gets a little rattled because he starts overcompensating. I thought the second goal wasn't very good. Like, yeah, okay, like the defense really screwed Jones there. Okay, on the second goal, like no doubt the defense screwed Jones hard. But like it's a backhand, it's like unscreened, it's on the ice. It's just not a great goal to let in. I mean, even goalie, defense, the defense being what it was, it just really wasn't a great goal for him to let in. And then the other thing was, and then the third goal, like it was a really nice shot by Rantanen. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to take anything away from the shot of Rantanen, but I don't know what Jones was doing there. Like it was a really nice shot, but at the same time, like it was stoppable. And I think at that point, if I was Bugner, I probably would have went to Dubnyk. Now, obviously, Dubnyk wasn't terribly better in this situation. Like, obviously, I don't think he was much better tonight, but at that point, and I tweeted this out at the time, right? Like at that point, I probably would have went to Dubnyk then after that third goal, because it just seemed like the game was getting away from them. And honestly, I thought that the last two, like the two of the three first goals were very stoppable shots, in my opinion. I don't know. So let me give me a second here, guys. So we're having some stuff going on in the background here. Some of the things that I thought that was good, mind you. Okay, can we stop this? Like, okay, no one's bringing their AHL goalie up for this. They've got two goalies making way too much money. The AHL goalie's not starting. Stop. Just give it a rest. It's not going to happen. This is the NHL. No one calls up their AHL first year goalie to play some games. Like, this is dumb. Like, it's just dumb. We shouldn't even discuss it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tap dancing, as you can see. But yeah, like, sorry guys, I'm not used to doing this. But so like the first period, I thought super stoppable, super stoppable. There's some stoppable goals there. It's funny because the goal that Jones got pulled on, actually, like Jones didn't have a chance on that one for sure. Like, it was funny that Jones got Jones had no chance. Like, it was a big screen, and there was no chance there that Jones was gonna make a save. But like, at that point, what do you do, right? At that point, you have to pull Jones. It was late, but in my opinion, that's what you have to do in that situation.
Yeah, no, I apologize. We're having some issues coming in with the website, and they are all occurring as we're on the air. So my apologies to everybody who's seeing a blank screen on my end. But you're doing great, Ian. But yeah, I mean, you had the first goal. Everything seemed hunky dory, and then you know it just that rush, and it's kind of like what we saw with Vegas, a number of times. With usually like the first 5 minutes of the game, where they just come at you in waves. They wait for you to make that first mistake, and then watch out, here they come. But you know,
Yeah.
they were stoppable. I mean, there were bad mistakes. There were some lazy moves. I think I saw LeBanc being lazy. I thought I saw Meyer look like they were at the playing with a controller without any batteries in it. So I don't know what with this. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't see them bringing in Melnichuk. I think they have to
No.
get it through the first.
Oh, it's not even an option. Like, you have two NHL goalies. This is the tandem that they came in with. They're not. There's not going to be any. This not happening. Like, it's not even worth talking about, because it's not going to happen. Like, it's just, these are the goalies that have come to the dance with. These are the goalies they're going to leave the dance with, unless there's an injury. It's going to be Jones or Dubnyk every night. Anthony Sanchez asking in chat, I want to know where the hell John Madden is. Visa issue can cause a 2-week absence. Well, here's the problem, right? Because he's going to have to get his visa information worked out, and then he's got to quarantine before he can join the team, right? So it's not even like, I don't know if he's quarantining during this time, but I'm interested to see how that pans out, because I mean, obviously visa issues can, I don't know. I'm not an immigration lawyer. I don't know, but I mean, obviously we have seen visa issues have effects like this in the past. But I'd like to see, I'd like to see, a couple of things, like, because the visa issue too. Like, I'd like to see what they're planning to do with Balcers, if he's going to be a taxi squad guy, if he's going to see some game action. Like, there's a couple things in there that are going to be interesting to see what they do.
And now you got me.
There you go.
Okay, so anyway, sorry about that, everybody. Dude, Murphy's Law night tonight. Evidently, we, for those of you who don't know, in the San Jose area, in the Bay Area at large, it is windy as fuck. So windy. So I think we can probably turn that off. Thank you. So anywho. Oh, and I just found out, I just got a notification that I missed a police chase. Oh, it's just been the worst night ever. Okay, so look, how did this start off? We got a crappy Sharks game, right? Like they get that first goal, and then you think, okay, cool, good. You're halfway through the period, you get a goal from Donato, who's looked good most of this season, and you're going, okay, good continuation from the last game. We're moving along. And then you give up that one with towards the end of the period, and then another one, and crap, here comes another one, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. After one, were you kind of like, maybe this is time to pull Jones, or were you like, no, it's not on him, let her go for the second? How are you feeling on that?
Completely agree.
All right.
Sorry, I'm frazzled.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But I definitely felt like they could have pulled Jones maybe one more earlier.
I would have pulled him after the third goal.
Yeah, that's
where I would have pulled him. I think after that third goal, I think that's where I would have given him the would have yoinked him, or at the very least let him finish the period and then start Dubnyk in the second is maybe alternatively what you could have done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the goal that he did get pulled on, like, that wasn't his fault.
No.
Period. Like that was not his fault. But at that point, you had to do something. I would have done it sooner, but
Yeah.
what can you do?
Well, and this, look, I'm, you're used to me beating the power play drum, but now it's just like the defense drum. It's when you have the most expensive defense in the league, you can't give up that many high danger chances.
No, and that's the other thing too. Like as not good as the goaltending was, the defense was worse.
Yeah.
Like
it's horrible, top to bottom.
The goaltending was not good, but the defense was worse. Like the team, like not even just like the defensemen, like just the team defense in general was nowhere near on point tonight. And I don't understand the system that they're trying to employ because I don't like. I need a few more games to try and figure out what the hell this defensive play is supposed to be because I have no idea. Like there's a lot of times where I look at what they're doing on the ice and I just kind of scratch my head.
Jeez. Yeah, you're right there. But, I said it on Twitter. Look, everybody gives up a stinker. The Sharks have done it. Everybody, Dallas railed the Preds the other day 7-0. Didn't Colorado rinse St. Louis 8-0 the other day? So, I think the Senators got waxed 7-1 earlier tonight. So, I mean, it happens. Everybody puts up stinkers. And remember, this is, this wouldn't tonight have been like game one or maybe the final exhibition game if we're usually we play about 6 or 7 before the real season starts. Tonight was game 7. So look, reset the clock, try to get it back on Thursday and try to get back to 500. But I will say though, you can't have a slow start.
That's a daunting task.
Huh?
Yeah, that's a daunting task. It's such a daunting task because I mean, the Sharks, they're not a great team. But, they've managed to look okay on some nights. But, it doesn't get any easier from here. Isn't Vegas next after this?
Yep. 2 against Vegas.
It's going to be like that. This could become a bloodbath really quick.
That's what I'm saying. And it's so funny that, going back early on, I was, telling my pals, it's like, look, Vegas and Colorado dogfight for 1 and 2. St. Louis probably slots in 3, maybe even makes a run for 1 or 2 if the things work their way. Then my whole thing was I'm going Minnesota is like my pick for the 4th spot. Everybody else is, and so far that's worked out. Now, fast forward 50 games from now, and it could look quite different. But
sure.
I mean, holy crap! Right now, it's like it looks exactly how a lot of people predicted it would look. And like you're saying, I don't know where you go from this. I mean, you would think Dubnyk is going to get the start on Thursday, even though Dubnyk has, for me, not looked better than Jones.
No, and that's been a problem, right? It's the goaltending. It wasn't just Jones. I don't think. The numbers are going to look favorable for Dubnyk after tonight, as far as save percentage and stuff goes. But I mean, that goal that, we kind of bitched goaltender interference. And I'm like, what are you complaining about? You interfered with the other player and, you kind of he got himself, in my opinion, tangled up with the player and took himself out of the play. Yeah. And then to whine to the ref after, I mean, I get it. You want to try and get a call to go your way. But I'm like,
yeah, I didn't know.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell he was complaining about, to be honest. I'm like, dude, come on. Dude,
yeah.
You're 8 feet outside the paint, and you're going to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't, like you're saying, I don't know what this team is yet. The only thing I can say is that it's, it's a team that doesn't have a top 6. They have a top 4.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's been problematic, though, because their top 4 has been kind of absent too. I really liked, don't get me wrong, I really like Donato and Couture.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised how much I like Gambrell and Gregor.
Yeah, they've stepped up.
But beyond that,
well, dude, Timo, had that solid game against Arizona where he put up 3 points in what ended up being a loss. Mm-hmm. And then last game before tonight, he gets demoted when, Donato gets pushed up.
Yep.
Timo gets demoted to the 3rd line and has, they had a solid outing. Everybody thought that line was probably the best. And then what happened?
Yeah, I mean, Timo's got to find some consistency at some point here. And Timo's the guy that I like. a lot. Like there's a lot about his game that I like, but there's been so many just frustrating outings from him so far this year. And and again, like it's hard because like, you can pick on like individual players, but I mean overall, like I mean the team game still isn't what it needs to be at all, even for a crappy team. A team as crappy as this, like you need more consistent um more consistent play from some of your guys that are supposed to be your big guys, the guys that are, making the money, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Your money players have to be your money players. And right now, Couture, I think Couture's been good this season. But, beyond that, like as far as money players go.
Well, I think Hurdle started off
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, Hurdle's all right. Like I don't think Hurdle had a bad game. I didn't really notice Hurdle tonight though. Like not in a good way and not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I just really did notice him tonight, to be completely honest. And that's not good either. And I love Hurdle, but like to not notice him at all,
Well,
problematic.
And it also seems like every time Kane gets noticed, it's because he's going to the box. I don't know what is going on with this cat. It's every other game, it seems like. So far, I mean, he took, 3 penalties in Game 2 versus Arizona. I think there was 3 again, 3, I think, against St. Louis, and then like 4 during the second game of the Minnesota series. And then now you've got tonight where he picks up 2. It's just like, bruh. You're part of that top 6. You can't. Last time I looked, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Ian. I have yet to see an NHL player score a goal from inside the penalty box.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to see it, but you know what? You're right. I mean, it's definitely an issue. Obviously, the more the game gets out of hand, I mean, there's players that are gonna act up more as the game gets out of hand like this. So I wasn't really surprised by it a little bit. And look at the Sharks were getting a little bit testy near the end of the game too. And obviously, Kane's gonna be a part of that for better or worse. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably like I said. I mean, there's players, there's a couple of forwards, there's a pair of forwards on a couple of lines that I really like tonight, and then the rest I don't have much use for tonight. Like, and it's bad because like again, you're including guys like Timo Meier in there and Patrick Kane and Evander Kane, and and even like I said, Hurdle I didn't really notice one way or the other, which really isn't. I mean, obviously don't want to notice him in a bad way, but gotta notice you at some point.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And Chris calling it out, our buddy Chris, some of this is on coaching. Players make constant mental mistakes is where coaching needs to correct. And that's true
Absolutely.
Bugner has called this out a few times, since the beginning. He called out Carlson saying that he was below average to start the season, and he was making mental mistakes. Clearly Gambrell didn't impress during camp since he didn't start until the 3rd game, and that was after they, tried Shellman, tried Handelmark, didn't work. Okay, let's bring in Gambrell, see what he does. And like you were saying, Hockey Jerk has said Gambrell, and
he's been good.
He's been good, and you got to give it to him too. Contract year. This is kind of like his shit or get off the pot year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, Gambrell, dude, turn it on. I mean, this is. At this point, yeah, that bottom 6 needs to bring it, whether it's a different guy, whether it's give me Sorensen, give me Gregor, give me Gambrell, and give it up, talking about Gregor, give it up to him. He gets scratched for a couple games, and since then has come in, I think, last 2 games, played solid.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Noah Gregor, like, again, just him, Donato, Gambrell, like, I just really like their games, the problem is these aren't the guys that, well, Donato's trying to prove he's a top 6 forward in this league, but like the problem is that like Gambrell, Gregor, like you want these guys to play good, but these aren't the guys that are going to carry you over the finish line, right? Like these are pieces that you add to an already good they're pieces you add to an already good team, and that's the problem here is that you got a lot of guys that aren't earning their paychecks right now, which is problematic, obviously. Well, and again, it's a team. There's a lot going on here. It's not just individual players. Like there are team issues right now.
Yeah. Well, Chris says too many cell phones and one or two vets making mental mistakes is one thing. This is team wide, and we saw this last season. Either they all just happen to be struggling, or coaching is not doing a good job correcting. Look, how long do you think this can continue before something happens? Now, last time I looked, cap friendly, the Sharks don't have space, really.
No.
No,
They're completely.
So
they're completely hamstrung.
So it just kind of feels like, okay, you're either going to have to find somebody that you can move, right? And I hate that we're talking about this 7 games in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look, if this continues for another compacted schedule, people,
for sure.
So if you have to move somebody, I mean, do you think about trying to see if you can find somebody to take Burns' fat contract, and that way, you get some value rather than letting him go to Seattle? Or I can't imagine anybody's going to take Vlasic at this point.
Who would want either of those? Like, that's the problem is, like, a lot of the guys that I think the Sharks would want to move, I don't know, like, I don't think Burns has been horrific this season so far.
I don't either. That's why I'm saying maybe this is the time to move him if you can get value.
I understand. Yeah. I don't know, though, because I look at those contracts. Who wants those contracts? Like, if you look around the league at the players making the money that a lot of the Sharks players are, they're a hell of a lot younger than the Sharks players that are making this money. Like, I don't know who wants, like, that's the problem, right? Like, I don't know who would want these contracts.
Something's going to have to happen. Look, I know I beat the drum all day and all night, but to me, it goes back to Erik Karlsson's deal.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's not just Karlsson's deal.
I mean, I think you can throw in Evander Kane's deal as well at some point.
You can throw in Evander Kane's deal. You can throw it. You can look at a lot of these, the big money players, and you can look at how long they're signed till and what age they're going to be when these contracts are over. You can look at Karlsson, but at least like Karlsson's contract ends when he's, I don't know, how old is he when it ends?
Karlsson, I want to say 37.
37. But I mean, you look at guys like, you could, again, like Brent Burns' contract takes him right till he's 40. Marc-Edouard Vlasic.
Yeah. No,
same story.
Well, and hold on for a second. We'll get to that. But $5 super chat donation from John. AJ, what is up with Timo effort? I do not know, sir. I do not know. But
he's just spurty. Like he can turn it on for a couple minutes and then, yeah.
I'll tell you, the year that the season that's going to scare the crap out of me, it's next off season, because if memory serves, Hertl and Ferraro are going to be due money, and you're still paying all the other guys. Like, you would think by that time, and I'm sure Doug Wilson is probably going, oh well, Burns won't be here by then, so that'll free up a bunch of cash.
I don't know.
But exactly like you're saying, okay, who are you going to find to take that contract? And remember, he's got a 3-team, and he can
3-team no trade. And he might as well. Everyone talks about how, like, you'll hear the media and how they say, oh, well, Doug Wilson hasn't handed out no move clauses. Yay, him. He might as well have. A 3-team trade list might as well have a no. You might as well have a no move. Like, it's such semantics. It makes me crazy when people, well, they're just modified no trades. Yeah, modified no trades with a 3-team trade list.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
That might as well be a no move.
Let me ask you this, though. What if they come to Burns and say, look, yeah, okay, give me your 3 teams or whatever, and tell Burns, look, don't give me, who's up against it? Tampa's up against it, right? Didn't they have a bunch of cap problems?
Sure. Yeah, lots of teams are up against it right now. I mean, that's the other thing.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, don't tell me, Tampa, Colorado, and some other team that's up against the cap. Like, give me realistic things, because if you don't, I'm exposing you to Seattle. Do you want to, and maybe, he could roll his dice and Burns could sit there and go,
I don't think Seattle needs a contract.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like Burns could go, yeah, big deal, bruh. But maybe, do you think that Santos Wilson remembers what happens with Vegas and does one of those side deals that says, okay, look, here's the guys that we're making available, but if you take Burns, we'll throw in a 3rd rounder or something. You know what I mean? Something to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Could happen. I don't know. Here's the problem though, right? And I think the real answer to your original question though is what is the Sharks' expectations for the season? And that they really haven't been, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what Doug Wilson's expectations are for the season, or take that higher. I don't know what Hasselplattner's expectations for this season were, what he's been sold. So, I mean, that's the real question. And without knowing that, it's hard to say, like, what, maybe we just let this roll because, secretly they're like, yeah, we're probably not doing anything this season.
Well, and it makes you wonder too if Hasso does, because Hasso became like full parent of this thing like what 5-6 years ago, somewhere in there. So it makes you wonder, after Doug Wilson went so long and only missed the playoffs once, now you're talking missing the playoffs 3 out of 6 years if they miss this year. And take that a step further, you miss 3 out of 6 years, and you came 10 minutes away from missing, or from losing in the first round against Las Vegas. So it's, I just go back to, I don't understand why Doug Wilson changed his MO. It used to be, I'll give you all the no trade protection you want, but I'm only signing you 5 years. And now it's been, no, I'm going to give you full, but maybe I won't give you as much I'm not going to give you a full no move, but I'll give you extra years. Either way, or it's the fact that he bet when he signed Kane, when he signed Karlsson, he didn't know COVID was coming, and he bet that cap. He's like, oh, the way it moves up, I'll have money by the time we get there.
For sure. I mean, there's definitely a factor there. I think there was also the factor of, if you thought that you could, and I've said this a million times, in my opinion, the goal was always to win a cup early. And then when all those contracts are terrible, well, we won a cup, so who gives a shit?
I believe that's called the Chicago LA philosophy.
Right. And obviously that didn't happen. And that didn't happen. And now, and this is what I said. Like you've heard me say this 100 times, AJ. When you sign those deals, the idea was to win a cup early, because then at the end, who cares? You have a cup, and that would be the case. Obviously, you'd be like, well, these contracts suck, but you know what? It brought a cup here, and we'll always have that cup. Yeah. Problem is the cup never came, and now the checks do.
Yep. From John, another donation. Thank you, sir. With the effort some of these money contracts are playing with, I'd rather watch the Rooks play and lose, at least play hard.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to see that. That's what the Barracuda's for.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we were talking about some players earlier, particularly like Karlsson and Meyer. Meyer tonight tipping off a -3. That's not good. Only player to have that tonight. And Erik Karlsson adding to his minus total. I'm trying to think. He might, in 7 games, I think Karlsson might have been positive once so far. And again, we always have to preface it with that, that's not a huge important stat or whatever. You'd be surprised how many players look at that stat. No player wants to be a dash at the end of the night.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah, look at, like, when you lose a game by 4 goals, especially when it's a 7-3 loss. I mean, obviously there's going to be guys in the dashes for sure.
Oh, yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you. I am hearing you. Yeah, just a rough night. I mean,
let's take
but
a
look
peek,
at, I mean,
real
like, even
quick.
guys that, like, I thought played good, like, you know what?
Dude,
here's
Donato,
the thing, right? Like,
Donato and LeBanc were both positive tonight. So, and Couture was +2. So it can happen.
Yeah, no, it can. I mean, but if you're looking at, like, some of the players that are in the minuses, like, I thought, again, I said that I really like Gambrell and Gregor's game. They were both -2 tonight. I mean, so it goes to show that it's not the be all and end all.
Oh, of course. It's one, to quote Pink Floyd, it's one brick in the wall. Oh, get that sip. Yeah.
Sorry.
See, now Karlsson leading the team at a -9 right now, but Tomas Hertl right behind him with a -6. Now, of course, the difference being Tomas Hertl's also leading the team in points.
Yeah.
Karlsson's 10.
Problematic. I mean, it's
a lot more bang for your dollar with Hertl right now.
overall team needs to be better. Period. Like this team needs to be better defensively. There's a lot of breakdowns that just can't happen. And that's the reality of it. I mean, I can sit here and complain about Jones and Dubnyk all night, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of nights where I will going forward. But the reality was some of those opportunities just shouldn't have happened. Period. And if the team's got to figure out what the hell their defensive system is, and they've got to start playing better defense as a team in general, forwards, defense. It's got to be a team effort, and right now it's just all over the place.
Yeah. Well, and let's take a quick look at the stats here, just because I'm just morbidly curious. We all know that our man Evander Kane leading the Sharks with 18 penalty minutes, but that only puts him in fourth.
Hey,
yeah. And what's funny, what really goes a long way, the top two leaders for penalty minutes play for the Vancouver Canucks. Tyler Myers and Antoine Roussel both leading the charge at 23 each. So it
doesn't shock me.
Yeah, well, in Vancouver not necessarily having the season they expected either.
No.
So look, it is what it is. It was a crap game. They're going to happen. The Sharks have had these before. Other teams have had these before.
Oh yeah.
The Oilers led in 6 tonight. So what are you going to do? So anyway, look, we get to turn it around in 2 nights. We get to do it again against the Avalanche. Who do you start in goal on Thursday for the Sharks?
I'm assuming Dubnyk gets a start. I mean, it just seems to be the Bugner really hasn't, I thought, there was a game where I thought Jones was good and they went to Dubnyk the next game. There really seems to be no rhyme or reason. Just seems to be like they're alternating. And I feel like Dubnyk probably gets the start here. I think he was probably a little bit better than Jones this game. That's not saying a lot.
Yeah. Well,
and he probably gets, again, obviously, like, come the third period, you knew the game, the Sharks were going to look better in the third because this is the NHL, right? Like,
well, and you expected Colorado to,
Colorado's going to let off the gas.
Yeah, it's like, bit, okay, they're dead already. But to point it out, Jones only saw 19 shots tonight. Dubnyk saw 23. So, just saying, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think either goalie was particularly good, but I don't know. I
think that's why he goes. I think that's why he goes Doobie next time. Super John coming in again, hot. Thank you again, Kane EK. I swear he became as narrow as Hacksaw Jim Duggan's 2x4 on that shot on goal. Yeah, you're right. I remember, man. He got He said, "Oh, okay, watch me do my best impression of a fence post." Yeah, no, he didn't want to get hit.
No, I mean, let the goalie see it, right? But I mean, obviously, your goalie has to be in the goal to stop it.
Yeah.
Right. You want either I would much rather block the shot or get out of the way. But if you're not going to block the shot, then let the goalie see it. The problem was there was no goalie in net to see the puck.
Yes. Well, look, I'll be interested since Knizov got a penalty tonight. It makes me wonder, okay, bring in Middleton. This guy fucked up,
I mean, there's going to be times obviously young players are going to do things
I thought Knizov's been serviceable so far.
He's been all right.
Yeah.
As far as for what he does, he's been fine, I guess. I mean, look at John Leonard got made look stupid. He had a nice little welcome to the NHL. I mean, young guys are going to make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
But I do feel it, it is, again, we look at it as a little bit of a metric, but it is funny that Vlasic, Carlson, and Burns, the big money guys, all finished minus tonight. The other 3 defensemen all finished even. So, I don't know. Take that for what you will. If I'm Colorado, I don't change a goddamn thing.
No. Colorado's going to just keep rolling.
Dude, they're a wagon. Again, them in Vegas, it's just yikes. And Colorado coming into this, weren't they they were 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
So,
yeah.
It's just, it's that thing where the Avs could very easily over their next 10 games go 9-1. You know what I mean?
But right, and again, I think you pointed out something that was very poignant earlier on when you said, look, like normally by this point you've had your exhibition games, whatever. These guys, there was no exhibition. You just started playing, right? So obviously some teams are going to take a little bit of time to get their stuff together and get their systems down and whatever's going on. And obviously, like, yeah, it's probably not the start that they wanted to get off to considering some of the teams they played, but you got to get started at some point. And I think that like obviously 3-3 isn't reflective of that team on, like, at least on paper, right? I mean, obviously games aren't won on paper, but you look at that team on paper and you're like, that's not a 3-3 team to start the season. But I think some teams, like you said, I think you said it really good earlier, like there was no preseason. There was just kind of get up and go, and here we are.
Well, I think that'll wrap it up for this one. Of course, we're going to see you after the game on Thursday against Colorado. Oh, but wait. If you missed it on the website, and based on our server being run by I don't know, somebody on a hamster wheel trying to power that thing, we had an exclusive that we broke news during the game that the Sharks and the Fanatics have had a conscious uncoupling, a mutual parting of the ways, and whatever that other phrase was when it to say that we're done. So
yeah,
go check that out on tealtownusa.com. Top post right now. It's getting a lot of good traction because, look, how long have I been bitching about Fanatics? And so it finally happened, and I think we're all happy. Oh, wait, but we got to get another one in here from John. John, thank you so much. AJ and Ian, I'm at least happy with LeBanc so far. I've been happier as each game has progressed. Like, it seems like he's not falling off. He's found a little bit of consistency. I will take that.
I think my only issue with LeBanc so far this year is for a guy who I think has underrated passing ability. He's tried to make a lot of things happen that just aren't there. Mm-hmm. That's my only real gripe with LeBanc, because he's trying too hard to make plays that aren't there. That would be my only real gripe with LeBanc right now.
Yeah. Back to the Fanatics. So yeah, a mutual parting of the ways. Now, that's nobody. You talk to just about anybody in the NHL. It's what? Oh, they were just such a great coach. They were such a great person. Blah blah blah. There's like 3 people. Like what? I don't know. Adam Berta, Sean Avery, and like somebody else that you can find people that would go, yeah, that guy was a prick. But for the most part, everybody talks nicely about each other. They don't talk down. But look, if there was a problem, who do you think had it? The company that had 4 more years on the deal, or the company that contracted them and said, no, we'd like to get out of this early if we could. Thank you. So Fanatics.
Yeah. And for
whatever.
Just to answer, like the thing is that Fanatics was the one that was running the team store for the Sharks. And this has nothing to do with the big picture. Like, Fanatics is still the
partner for the NHL.
They're still the partner for the entire league. They're just not they will just no longer be running the team store at SAP.
Yes. But what this does mean, to tail on to what you're saying, it's like when you see merch for the Lake Tahoe games, the Stadium Series, the playoffs, that's all going to be Fanatics. That's a league-wide license. But there are some teams like New Jersey, Penguins, Fanatics are contracted to run their shop. And, they've proven to be inconsistent, shall we say. I'll try to be somewhat diplomatic about it. Now, Anthony is asking, so does NHL Shop stop selling Sharks merchandise from Fanatics? No, that's not going to happen. There's 27 other teams in the league that don't have deals with Fanatics to run their stuff, and all their stuff's up there. So no, it's not that at all. That will not be impacted. It's just that what you will see is the Sharks, they're going to have their own shop, sjteamshop.com. You're going to start seeing more merchandise there, and the selection and the designs that you'll see at the tank are going to be a lot different. and hopefully a more consistent shade of teal across the line of all the options that are available. So I look forward to seeing what they're going to do. The other thing to take into account too, Fanatics has a certain way of kind of setting up their stores, and this is going to afford the opportunity for the Sharks to kind of, turn that on its side a little bit and go, we actually want to put this over here, and we want to put this up, and we want to feature more of this. And I think when you go into the Shark store, you see that wall of hats, and you'll see like a row of 7, and it's all the exact same hat. And so why are we wasting all this space for this? We can truncate this and feature some other cool stuff. So what I'm saying is I think you're going to, over the course of the next few months, and this is all supposed to take place February 1st, so you're going to see that changeover. It's not going to be overnight, people. Don't expect to just show up on February 1st and go, okay, where's all the cool new stuff? It doesn't work like that. There's going to be a transition. However, the store it'll still carry some Fanatics jerseys, particularly, children's and women's, because Adidas doesn't make those. And there is a small contingent of people who do find Fanatics to be more comfortable, or, they like the cut better, whatever it is. So, it is.
I'm laughing at the Alex Jew comment. A mutual parting, like the nameplates on my Fanatics jersey.
You right? So anyway, yeah, we were happy to break that news tonight. That was fantastic. Look forward to that. The other thing I'm looking forward to is, since we have all the new merch and whatnot, and, the Sharks are supposed to be playing a couple home games, even though they'll be played in Arizona. I'm dying to see when the reverse retro and heritage jersey nights are going to be. Should be a lot of fun to get those going. I can't wait to see those on the ice. I'm a little shocked that some teams have waited this long, to start. I thought that by game 3, we're going to see something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was. Didn't Arizona open with Kachina jerseys, if I remember correctly? Yeah. So it's yeah, man, let's go. We have some cool stuff to play in. Let's rock. But anyway, I digress. So we'll finish this up, and if you have any final words to ask in the chat, do it now, please. Ian, where can the people find you on social media?
At Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine. And you can find me here sometimes.
From time to time.
From time to time. Hopefully in the future with less puck guy talking to tech support while I'm trying to vamp.
Yes. I'm AJ_strong on social media stuff. And remember, of course, boom, follow us, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, all of it at tealtownusa. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you would. Hit the notification bell to be let it known every time we go live. And if you ever miss a show, you want to hear it again, you can find us on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to leave us however many stars you can and a cool review while you're there. But everything can always be found at tealtownusa.com. Sound good? I think so. So with that, I think that wraps it up. Let me see. We'll do our last looks at the chat here. And we'll give the last comment to Vince. What's he say? To be fair, Sharks had no clue when they were going to be playing at home to put out a retro schedule. Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. And
I just meant league-wide. I'm surprised we haven't seen a lot of them yet.
Yeah. The heritage, Vince, I will absolutely give you. Because the retro reverse have no designation, I'm surprised that we hadn't seen how does the NHL not give us one of those silly hour-long shows when they really only have 30 seconds of information to give us? But how do you not do an hour-long show that shows off each jersey, shows you what it's based on? They easily could have put a show together like that, and then at the end of each segment based on a simple on whatever team, then you show off the schedule. And so the Anaheim Ducks are going to play their reverse retros these days. I was a little surprised that there wasn't a league-wide thing, since this is for one season and is driven by the NHL, but whatever. Alrighty then. We apologize for the technical difficulties this evening. It was out of our control. As you could tell, it was a Murphy's Law kind of night.
Really was.
On the ice, on the air, on the web server, just everything. So thanks for tuning in. And with any luck, AOL will FedEx new discs to Puck Guy, and he'll be ready to rock on Thursday, unless Landy has to come in and pinch it. I don't know. So until then, thanks for watching, guys. Hit the subscribe button.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you all next time. How do I end this? Here we go.